Cavern Churn is one of those maps where very few brawlers can actually do well in it. After all, the center is just covered with bushes, so you're not going to see a brawler unless if they attack first. However, one of the few brawlers who does extremely well on this map is Bo, and I'm going to show you the exact loadout I use for him. Starting off with the gadget, I use Tripwire, which allows me to remotely activate Bo's mines after 1.5 seconds. And this one is definitely the most fun gadget Bo has to offer, just considering how it works. So now moving on to gear, the first one that I use is Speed, which gives me a 15% speed increase when moving in bushes. The second piece of gear that I use is Reload Speed, which gives me a 15% faster reload. Although this one's not really necessary, it's always much better to be able to shoot faster than normal. And finally, the star power, which I think is the most obvious choice to use, is Circling Eagle, which gives Bo a 150% longer distance to spot enemies and bushes than normal. So now that you all know what loadout I use, let's go ahead and see it in action. So starting off in my first match, you can see how useful the star power is, as I'm able to attack this bull from a safe distance before he can attack me. After a short encounter with Edgar, I decide to put my mines on this specific spot so that I can possibly lure him into them. Unfortunately, that Edgar disappears and I have another encounter with the same bull, and this happens. Hopping into my second match, I try to take things a bit more slowly this time, but unfortunately this Terra attacks me, which forces me to retreat a bit. At first I was confident that I could take her, but little did I know she already had her super and just completely destroys my asshole. This time I try to get as many power cubes as possible, but unfortunately the Shelly comes out of nowhere and just steals them all. But thankfully a bull comes up behind her and claps her as revenge for me. Now I'm waiting for another brawler to appear, and luckily this Spike does, so I activate my trap and I catch him by surprise. After that, I decided to lay down a few mines and I proceed to attack this dynamite, so now it's just me against a bull. Although I do damage him with my mines, it's not enough to finish him off and he does escape. I then decide to lay down a few more mines just in case if he comes out, and indeed he does. So I'm sure by now you all understand the gist of it. The idea is to always activate the mines yourself instead of having the enemy brawler walk over them and setting them off, because usually that gives them enough time or a warning to escape, which is something you don't want to happen. And if by some chance they do take damage, it's unlikely that they will activate another trap and take more damage. But probably the most annoying thing to happen is when you set off your mines when a brawler is close and they take no damage at all. Here for example, I try to bait this Edgar into getting the power cube crate, and I guess he was outside of the radius, so he didn't take any damage. But it's usually not all bad, since the enemy is more likely to run away if they do take damage than to actually find where you are. But in case if they do, that doesn't mean they're prepared for what you have to offer. So in my opinion, this is most likely the best loadout you can have for Bo if you're playing on Cavern Churn. I'm not sure how well this could work on other maps, but unless if there is an abundance of bushes, then I'm assuming that your chances of success are a bit lower. But then again, it also depends on how good you are using Bo. For me, I'm just average. So those are just my thoughts on this. You guys can tell me what you think in the comment section below. Anyways, have a good day.